Hey, Nathan here from PH Studios, and welcome back to another Tower Defense Engine tutorial. Last video we discussed the map class, the one we've been waiting for in order to finish part 2 of the other classes. So in this tutorial we're going to do one more class in that long chain of sequences, and we're going to do the MapLoader class. Remember, at the very start of this series, I mentioned the long chain of classes. We start with the MapLoader that loads a map, and map loads waves and towers. Towers load bullets, and waves load monsters. So we went to the very end of that chain, and now we're at the very beginning, which is the MapLoader class. So we're going to do that class, and then we're going to go to the monster class part 2. And then we should be able to do part 2. I'm hoping to get one tutorial for part 2 per week, because now we're getting into the actual interesting coding, and I want to spend as much time with that as I possibly can. Alright, so first things up, let's go to the MapLoader, and let's add a couple of using statements at the top, just like always. What we need to add is using Microsoft.xna.framework.content and that long using statement using Microsoft.xna.framework.content.pipeline.serialization.compiler. Okay, so now we have a public class MapLoader, and that MapLoader is just going to have a list of strings to represent the map names. So that's going to be private. We don't need access to that outside of this class. It is type of strings and map content names get and set, and this property will be serialized. So content serializer at the top. Alright, now the property that goes with it will be the public list of maps, and these will be ignored. Content serializer ignored. And it's going to be get and private set. Okay, and just like the user interface session and the audio engine and video manager, this is going to have a singleton approach, and it's going to be ignored. Public static MapLoader singleton. So we're going to use the singleton approach. So public, and now we have the constructor MapLoader. Whenever we call the constructor, we need to make new lists for these. So map content names is equal to new list string, opening closing parentheses and semicolon, and then maps is equal to new list of maps, opening closing parentheses and semicolon. Now that's it for the constructor. Now for the reader, public class map loader reader is a derivative of content type reader type of map loader, closing bracket, and then we can implement the abstract class, which will override the read method. Now inside that body, let's delete the throw new not implemented exception and set map loader, whatever you want to call this, is equal to new map loader, opening closing parentheses, semicolon. Now to read the content, remember we read the same way we write, and we do both of those the same way we have organized our class here. So map content names, that is serialized, so we need to read that. Map loader.map content names .add range. Whenever we want to read a list, you want to use the add range method to do that. So now we call input.read object, opening bracket, list, opening bracket, string, closing I'm sorry, not opening bracket. It should be less than, and then greater than at the end. Alright, so the line should be MapLoader.map content names.addRange opening parentheses input.readObject less than list capital L less than string greater than opening closing parentheses and semicolon. Now, just like always, we have something that goes with our content strings or our list of content strings, and that is the actual object, the list of the object here, so the maps. So for every string, and whatever you want to call this, I call it S, in MapLoader.mapContentNames. So for every string inside that list, we're going to call MapLoader.maps.add input.contentManager.load less than map greater than opening parentheses string.format opening parentheses opening quotes, the double quotes, maps with capital M, 2 backslashes, opening bracket, little curly bracket there, the number 0, closing bracket, 2 backslashes, opening bracket, 0, closing bracket, end of the double quote, comma, S. And in parentheses, and in parentheses, and in parentheses, and semicolon. So that's going to call .load for the maps, and that's going to start that chain effect. It's going to call the maps, it's going to load the map, and the maps load towers and waves. And each one of those, the wave loads monsters, and towers load bullets. So this is going to start that long chain that we've been building towards. Return the map loader. Alright, now we need to have the writer, and we're going to do that inside the class, just like the other classes. So we're going to have an opening bracket, the square bracket like that, not the curly brackets. Content type writer, closing bracket, press the enter key, and then we need to create a new class, public class, MapLoader writer is a derivative of content type writer, opening less than, MapLoader greater than, opening curly bracket and then closing curly bracket, and inside of the body we're going to have protected override void write, and then we want to have the parameters as content writer output and MapLoader value. Delete the throw new not implemented exception line, and let's type in output.write object, opening parentheses, value.mapContentNames, closing parentheses, and semicolon. So the only thing we are writing is this map content name list. Alright, now we need one more method, and we've done this in every one of my videos in the past. It's the get runtime reader. So public override string get runtime reader, and we are going to return the type of opening parentheses MapLoader dot MapLoader reader closing parentheses dot assembly qualified name semicolon. Alright, we can go ahead and save this class, and that was it for this class. Now we're on to the bullet classes, and we're going to start part 2, and maybe some classes will require part 3 and part 4. But now we should be pretty much at the halfway point, and we'll be getting into the more interesting code from here on out. So I hope to see you next time for the bullet class part 2.